What up, Morning Manna fam? It is so good to be gathered with you for day number 2 of our series where we're going to look at manna. No, not the church manna, but the little wafer, the little white wafer that was on the ground as the dew dried up that God provided for the children of Israel in their sojourn, in their wandering in the wilderness, in between Egypt and their entry into the promised land. Manna is a reminder of God's provision. That's what I see every time I see something in the Old Testament recorded about manna. The easiest place to read is, of course, Exodus 16. There's a couple other references we know in Joshua 5:12. That's where the provision of manna ends as the children of Israel enter the promised land. But I was thinking about the beginning of Exodus 16 and the circumstances that lead up to God's provision. Truth is, you and I both know as we read through the Old Testament, God was always going to provide. God always provides. He provided for them. He provides for us. But you think about all the circumstances where the children of Israel came to Moses, came to God, and were complaining. And the nature of their complaints. Oh, it would be better for us to have died in Egypt. Now we're going to die out here in the desert. And you want to be like, calm down. You're literally following God in a pillar, a cloud, and a pillar of fire by day and night. Everybody gathered, watched God destroy the army of Pharaoh. All of them participated in that first Passover, and they saw the plagues in Egypt. Certainly they know that God's going to provide. And yet, how many times do the children of Israel and all of the characters we see in Scripture represent our own fickle hearts? As every single one of us could relate story after story of how God has shown up for us. Moments where I needed wisdom and I know I was short, and yet boom, in a moment, God provides exactly what I need. How to deal with this child, how to approach this circumstance. Places where God has healed me, where He's set me free, where His peace has been there for me, where His grace has been there for me. So I was thinking about manna and how God provided for the people. And then it hit me all over again. Manna, God's provision, is always a demonstration of His faithfulness, not our faithfulness. How many times have we been unfaithful? Have we been crying out for God to move on the back of one of our mistakes, or we've forgotten what God has just done, and yet there is God, calmly, gently, full of grace, always providing. I read one commentator talking about God's provision in the midst of their complaining, and he pointed out that God uses crisis to reveal His nature to His people. And so I love that manna is a reminder that God is always standing by to provide, always there to bring grace, to bring peace, to bring mercy, to show up for me, even when I am undeserving, because He's that good, that loving, that kind. So thanks so much for being a part of Morning Manna. I'll see you again here tomorrow.